How do you make reading a book more impactful? Hello guys and welcome to I Love Reading, a channel about interesting book-related subreddit topics. If you love our content, please press the like button, leave a comment and lastly, if you're new here, subscribe to our channel. Now let's get started. Hi to all. I enjoy reading quite much, but lately I have only read non-fiction except one or two. However, in reading non-fiction I notice nothing much is coming out of that. Most facts, arguments are lost with time, and coming to self-help kind of books nothing much is internalized. For instance, currently I'm reading Meditations and as soon as I put it down, I forget it completely. Now for textbooks, I get that one has to go through that several times. But for normal non-fiction, this seems too much work. So how do you make reading a book more impactful, internalize its teachings and remember major themes, arguments, facts, etc.? Read in bed, holding the book above you. So when you nod off, each word will make their greatest impact. Would you recommend hardcovers for this? Most certainly. Especially an in-depth volume with many of literature's greatest hits. I actually have started writing key points down, either in my notebook or in a Google Doc. And then I remember to review my notes every so often. This is especially true for self-help related stuff. Writing it down helps, but if you don't go back and refer to it every so often, it still won't actually change anything in your life. I find that I read a book or an article through a first time without taking any notes. Then if at the end of it I think it is worthy, I'll go back and do a detailed read through and take notes. Sounds like studying, I know. But more important. It's for your life. Great question though. Recently I started taking photos and screenshots of something important which we never revisited again. But maintaining single doc seems good idea. It helps if you talk about it with someone. Or even write down some cursory thoughts. The act of expressing thoughts in these ways means your mind actually has to roll around the thoughts for a bit, interpret rather than just translating. Well, it works for me anyway. This works for me too with the type of non-fiction I read. Like astrology, any TV show I look up the characters' birthdays and see if they signs match up. It helps me get into the show more and remember which signs match and meanings. I usually read on a Kindle, and I use the highlight tool whenever I see an idea I want to keep. Then, I use Readwise. It is a tool that can concentrate your highlights and gives you tools to go over them in the future so they don't fade. It is a very good service. For specific books, I also export the highlights from Readwise, and I then write a brief summary of them. Another tool I use inside Readwise are the notes. I like to write notes over old highlights, trying to combine ideas from different books. Read it at night and go to sleep thinking about what you just read. It'll stick with you longer. Others have already given some sound advice, I would only add. Trust that the book may have had a deeper impact than you realize when you're reading it or putting it down. It's been my experience that it's near impossible to walk away from a non-fiction book retaining all of its information, but the things you read are not gone. They're deposited somewhere in your mind and will come out when recalled, not in the most accurate way, perhaps, but you'll know the gist of it and then some. I've been honestly shocked at times to see that I would be able to bring up, in conversations or discussions, some knowledge from a book or article one didn't even fully know I had. That said, sometimes I do feel the need to take notes, make maps, highlight some parts and go back to them. It's not a chore if you feel like it helps you get the best out of the read, in my opinion. I have this problem sometimes too. I mainly read historical non-fiction. I don't know if you do or not, but this is what helps me. When I read a line that has an interesting fact or something, I stop and think about it with the mindset of the time period. So if I read about casualty numbers during a battle on the Western Front during World War I stop and think about how someone living from 1914 to 18 would think about it. I sometimes try to bring something up to my wife if she's nearby while I'm reading. Sometimes discussion helps me. Questions. To be impacted you have to engage the book and yourself. One way is to ask lots of questions. Ask general ones. Why are you reading this? Is it boring? Is it exciting? Why so? Why it affects you in some way, or why it is not? What caught your eye? What ideas are you attracted to? Ask specific ones. New word? Learn it. New name? Read about it. New concept? Old concept done in a different way? New approach to a problem? Unexpected problem where you saw none? New array of facts that gives you a different perspective? Get into details and try to get a bigger picture at the same time. Sounds like a lot of work, but why not if the book is good? And if it isn't, why read it in the first place? Don't worry about retaining everything. It's not possible. Get the gist of it and move on. If it's important enough, you will remember it. Or you can always revisit it if needed. There you have it, interesting comments by Reddit users on how to make reading a book more impactful. Note: books talked about in the video can be accessed through the link on the description below. Thank you for watching till the end. If you loved the video, don't forget to press the like button and also subscribe to I Love Reading. See you on the next video.